number 1, you had to find the slope. So that would be negative 18 minus negative 8 over 12 minus negative 3. And then you could simplify that insert to get negative 2 over 3. For number 2, it's asking about line of best fit. So you would need to go to stat, go to edit in your calculator, put all of this data in, and then storing it would probably be the best since it's asking for which of these as an answer. And then once you get your equation, this would be the equation that it gives you, negative 12 point, and then the decimals x plus 272.271. And then it's asking for which is the closest to the length of time it should take Russia's 6-year-old niece. So you would put in 6 for x, and your y value would be about 199.5. The closest number to that would be 200. For number 3, it's asking for the y-intercept, which is negative 1. So you have to know which one of those is your y-intercept. Do we have questions on any of those 3? Need to see 2 in the calculator, anything like that? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go into stat, go into edit. I'm going to clear out my list. Clear, not delete. And then put in all of this data. Actually, 8, 9, 10. Once all of your data, whatever is in your calculator, go back into stat, scroll over to calculate, go down to number 4, and then because this is asking for you to input a value, I'm going to store this, so go down to store regression equation, and hit alpha trace, pick one of these and store it there, and then hit enter twice, or scroll down and hit enter. So what did you do? Stat, go recalculate number 4, go down to store regression equation, and hit alpha trace, and then hit enter 3 times. It'll give you some equation, and to find the answer, I'm going to go back to the main screen, second mode. I'm going to store 6, so the STO above on for x, and then hit enter. And then I'm going to go back and grab my equation from y1, so alpha trace. Wherever you stored it, mine is stored in y1, and hit enter. And then you would round to 200. On the back. For number 4, there are 2 different ways that this is being solved. I'll talk through both. One, if you solve this equation, get whatever your slope is here. You need a slope that's perpendicular to the one that's given. So this slope is negative 1/5. Your new slope would be positive 5. And then you could graph this point 2, 3, and then find your slope of 5. So if I go down 5 to the left 1, and I keep doing that, I'll end up at my y-intercept of negative 7. And my equation would be y equals 5x minus 7. Or if you were doing this algebraically, after you find that new equation, a new slope, you can take the point and take the slope, put it into your point slope formula, and then solve that to get your equation. Either or. Questions on 4 before we move on? For number 5, you need to graph this and state a solution. So this would start at 2, go up 3 to the right 4, and go down 3 to the left 4. This would be a dashed line, so it's not included, shaded below. And you can pick any point that was a solution or pick 0, 0. Right. Today we are doing the last objective in our review unit on factoring. Everyone should have notes that look like this. We're going to go through 4 problems unless you want to see more, and then you'll have time to practice. Probably not all 4 before lunch. So if this box is not enough space, get extra paper or other paper and write it out that way. So we're going to start with example 1. With example 1, with all of these, you need to look and see, do you have a GCF, something you can divide out that these each have in common? Do we have a GCF here? Yes, 1, but if we divided it out, then we can't. I'm still going to write that, but that's not going to change anything. So then, we need to multiply 2 and 3 together. And we're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be 6, that add to be 5. What 2 numbers would work? 6 times 1. If one of them was negative, that would give me 5. 2 and 3 would work. And then I'm going to rewrite my equation. So I would have 2x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 3. So I'm taking the first and the last. Those are staying the same. The 2 numbers we just found, I'm replacing the middle term with those. Now we have 4 terms, so we can split the middle and start factoring by grouping. So if we look at these first 2, what do these 2 have in common that we can factor out? Two. Anything else? X. So 2 and x, we should factor both of those out. And remember, when we factor something out, we're dividing. So if we divide both of these terms by 2x what's left? 1x, where's this x? And then 2x divided by 2x. It's just 1. Plus 1. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other 2. What do these 2 have in common? 3. And whatever this sign is, we're going to bring it down. So if we divide both of these by 3, what's left? X plus 1. Remember that your goal is to get these inside pieces to be the same. If they are the same, that is one of your factors, x plus 1. And then everything on the outside is your second set of factors, 2x plus 3. If you wanted to double check yourself, you could distribute everything to everything and see what you get and see if it's the original, and it should be. Before we do another example, do you have any questions on this? Let's do example 3. Does that have a DCF? 1. So we know it's 1, but that wouldn't change anything. So then we're going to multiply 6 and negative 4. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 24, but add to be negative 5. If you need to list out your factors of 24, what two numbers would multiply to be negative 24 but add to 5? Negative 8 plus 3 reverse. So then we would rewrite this into 4 terms. 6y squared minus 8y, or if you want to put plus 3y first, that order does not matter. Plus 3y minus 4. And then we're going to factor by grouping. What do these first two have in common? They definitely have a y and 2. So 2y. If I divide both of these by 2y, what's left? 3y minus 4. And then of the last two, what could you divide out of these two? This 1. So you put plus 1, and then 3y minus 4. Our insides are the same, so that would be one of our factors. 3y minus 4. What would the second factor be? 2y plus 1. Do you have any questions on that? We're going to start the next one, but we'll probably get cut off by the on to that. We're going to do number 12. Does number 12 have a DCF? What is that DCF? 2. We can write everything by 2. If we are dividing the DCF out, what would be left? 6x squared plus x minus 1. And then we would need to go on to the next step. Multiply 6 and negative 1. And I'm just going to do this. So we're looking for two numbers that multiply to be negative 6, but add to be 1. Negative 2 plus 3 would work. So then we could rewrite this. Make sure we bring our 2 down and keep bringing that 2 down. Now 6x squared minus 2x plus 3x minus 1. And then from there we could start grouping. So we're still going to bring down this 2 on the outside. What do those first two have in common? 6x squared and negative 2x. 2 and x. So it would be 2x. If we divide out 2x, what's left? X minus 1. What could we divide out of the last two? 1. So we put plus 1, and then if we divide out 1, 3x minus 1 is what's left. So then what would our final answer be? So you would have 3 answers instead of just 2. And then we'll do one more when we get home. On the same page, we're going to do number 14. For number 14, we have a GCF. So you're close, not 3. You do have 1, but it's not 3. 2, yeah. And so if we divide 2 out of everything, what's left? Okay. 16 squared minus 8x plus 1. Okay. So then we are looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be 16 but add to be negative 8. Negative 4 and negative 4 would work. So when you have minus plus, both of your answers have to be negative. So then we could change this to have 4 terms. 16x squared would stay the same. Minus 4x plus 1. And then we can start grouping. Bring your 2 down. What could we divide out of the first 2? 2 would work, but it's not the highest. 4x. So if we divide out 4x out of these first 2, what would be left? 4x minus 1, yeah. And then out of the last 2, what could we divide out of that? 1, but since this one is negative, this would be negative 1. If we divide out a negative 1, what would be left? 4x minus 1. So then we can write our final answers, which would be what? So you could write it like that, or 4x minus 1 squared. Either or. Before I let you practice on your own, are there any others we want to see or go over? For the remainder of class, use this time to practice factoring when A is not 1. Go through all of the steps. Make sure you are good with all of the steps. Do as many of these as you feel like you need. Make sure you get some of the regular ones that don't have a GCF or has a GCF of 1, and some of the ones that also have a GCF that is not 1. Do as many of those as you feel like you need. Let us know if you have any questions, need our help, want us to check anything.